Writing contracts is not who we are, but hearing what isn't said is. We're Home Matters, for people who want more.
This episode of Home Matters has been brought to you in part by Robbie Streett with State Farm Insurance in Lexington, South Carolina, providing insurance services for auto, homeowners, condo, renters, personal articles, business, life, health, and pet. Find them at yourscinsurance.com.
Hey guys, I have Robbie Streett here from State Farm, and thank you for being here today. We were going to give, or he's going to give, I'm not, so for my pay grade, a little bit of information, or more information about your dwelling and contents coverage that you at State Farm can help people decide how to do and what it means to have that.
Yeah, absolutely. Angela, thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So dwelling coverage is a big term that whether it's your realtor, your mortgage broker wants to make sure you have the proper dwelling coverage in place. And obviously we do too. And so when that comes in, a couple tips on that. If you buy a house for $300,000, $400,000, whatever that number is, the mortgage company is going to want you to have that amount of coverage at least in place. Obviously, because they want to recover the home. If that's a new construction home, then that's going to be pretty accurate when it comes to, all right, what's the home actually worth to be rebuilt because it was just built. But if that home was built in 2000, that home was built older, new, whatever that might be, the appraisal amount or the purchase price is not the price that you need to have your home insured for. The reason for that is we're trying to cover to rebuild your home in 2024,
right? What
that would cost versus what it costs to build that house in 2000, which is two completely different numbers.
Yeah.
So make sure whenever you are getting your coverage in place, your agent, rep, whoever you're speaking with is properly making sure to replace that home, not just using that number that's on your contract or your potential contract.
Right. And what about the replacing, you had a fire, so you got a total loss. What about the contents within? How is that done as far as being able to replace those things?
Yeah, so the contents within, I like to say if you flip your home upside down, what falls is considered personal property. A lot of people don't think about, like if a oven's in there that's not attached in or some type of thing, those are considered personal property as well, obviously clothes, furniture. With our policy, there's a standard 75% of your dwelling coverage that's covered. Most people do say, all right, that's more than what I actually have. But if it's not, you can increase that. And that's just having open dialogue with your agent initially when you're getting that quote. Like, hey, if there's this much coverage and we actually need this with all our property, have that, let us know so there's not anything at the time of the claim.
Right.
Any issues. Another thing with content is things like jewelry, firearms, those things of more value and appraisal value. A lot of times on policies, specifically on State Farm policies, there are limits to what those would be covered for. So we have separate policies, called personal article policies that we specifically write for, let's just say jewelry. Let's just say the jewelry you're wearing right here.
Right.
It's got a greater value than maybe just a typical clothes or something like that. So we write a policy specific to that. Usually, this is up for discussion, but usually with a lower deductible. So if something were to happen, it'll be a lower deductible. You don't have to come out a huge deductible that your home would have. And it's not a claim against your homeowners. And it's not subject to those limits on the homeowner's policy as well.
And so policies like let's just say the jewelry policy or the firearm policy, is that covered if just something happens, or is it also cover like if it's stolen, or how does that work?
Yes, it's an all perils coverage. And so you lose it, it's stolen, you're swimming in Lake Murray and it falls off your finger, whatever it may be. That's going to be covered there. It's not just in a type of claim that happens with the home. It's not you took it off and it was in the home at the time of the claim. Right. It is completely separate if it was stolen when you were out and about or whatever the case may be there.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, so you've been in your house for a while and you still have the same coverage. How often do you advise people to revisit that with you so that you're, again, not trying to replace a 2020 home when 2024 prices or even further back? How often?
That's a fantastic question. So in our office, we like to try to have annual reviews. That doesn't always happen because guess what? People are busy. And so we like to have annual reviews or maybe even every other year reviews to try to make sure our policies at renewal do automatically increase with inflation coverage, or not inflation coverage, but due to inflation, we'll increase that dwelling coverage to make sure. But it's always important to revisit and make sure, all right, it didn't increase too much or not enough. Because like you said, over time, things have increased and will continue to increase. And so making sure you're ahead of the game and there's no surprises, we will continue. I advise annually, but sometimes that's not feasible. So I would say at least every 2 years to kind of revisit that and talk to your agent about that.
Because, I mean, home prices from 2020 to now is almost double in places. In some places, I mean, it's worth, I mean, it would take more to build that home almost twice just in that length of time. Now, that's not, again, almost, and it's not everywhere. Yeah. But I mean, if you have let's say your policy, it might be tough because because of, the COVID, and we had all of that craziness then that we call the unicorn years. Things went nuts, and here we are, and they're really not going to go. They might come down a little, but it's not going to be a lot.
We tell whether they're customers, potential customers, or just people in general, we always say that example, you're the expert when it comes to house prices. I'm not. But, I mean, we obviously know what we're seeing in that realm. We obviously look more of the constructing the home because obviously we have to do that. And so we tell people this, especially just look pre-COVID. If you haven't touched your policy since pre-COVID, what's happened since COVID? Everything has gone up, especially homes. And so if you haven't touched your policy or even looked at your policy since COVID, and you've got a policy in place pre-COVID and you're okay with the coverage just staying the same and you getting a portion of your home back, then you need to take a look at that and talk to your agent. Talk to us. We'll be glad to talk about that to make sure, hey, at the end of the day, you don't want a portion of your home back. You want the whole thing. So as we all do.
Without a room.
Exactly.
Right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Loss of use. Right. 3, 2, 1.
This episode of Home Matters has been brought to you in part by Robbie Streett with State Farm Insurance in Lexington, South Carolina, providing insurance services for auto, homeowners, condo, renters, personal articles, business, life, health, and pet. Find them at yourscinsurance.com.
And by Angela Barrett at HomeMattersSC.com, building on what matters to you.